Hey guys, it's Arleman. Today I want to go over kind of a beginner tutorial for Warframe. I'd actually done an earlier video and it ended up being way too long, so I'm going to try and make this as concise as possible. I'm going to break it up also. So this first tutorial is going to go over modifications. This is assuming you've started the game, you've played through the first actual story sequence called Vor's Prize. There's no reason for me to go over that because the game walks you through the mission, will give you control tutorial and what have you. Where a lot of people have problems with Warframe is once they get out of that, it's a situation of, well, what do I do first? What am I supposed to do? How does the game work? All the information is available in the game's codex. Unfortunately, the codex is a little cumbersome to navigate, not to mention some of the tutorials are not as good as they need to be. So I decided I was going to go ahead and make some videos and hopefully help some folks out there get into the game. Warframe is a third-person shooter slash melee slash MMO slash open world kind of squad-based shooter. It's kind of a lot of genres in one. I came back to the game from 2014 when it came out. When it came out in 2014, it was kind of a hot mess. I played Destiny and Destiny 2 quite a bit. Was kind of disappointed in Destiny 2, so one of my buddies suggested that I try out Warframe again, and I'm glad that I did. There's a lot of things in the game that quite honestly easily surpass a lot of the stuff in Destiny. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, after you finish the beginning tutorial quest, you'll end up on the Orbiter. This is your ship. In one of the three frames that you've selected, I've selected Excalibur Prime. Not Excalibur Prime, I wish. Standard Excalibur. It's a good all-round frame. I do recommend it. It's not quite as squishy as the others, but it kind of depends on your playstyle. The other two frames that you could choose from in the beginning, you will be able to get later on down the road. So once you get to the Orbiter, you'll do a couple more quests that will enable various features on the ship. Okay. First feature you will unlock, obviously, is the arsenal. The arsenal is how you equip your Tenno and your loadout of equipment. Next couple quests, you'll unlock the foundry. The foundry is where you build all of your new equipment. Okay. Weapons and equipment are generally only acquired through blueprints and building things based on those blueprints. So, let's see, I don't really have anything that I can build right now that I want to build. But that's item acquisition. It's important to know also that when you're building items in the foundry, especially things like frames take 3 to 4 days to make, so just be aware. You can speed it up with platinum. Platinum is the in-game currency that's purchased with real cash. The game is free to play, so this is how they get their income. So just be very cautious because it's very easy to double press, and a lot of people get impatient and they decide that they want to rush stuff. I highly encourage people to support the game by purchasing platinum in the various packages, but only if you actually really like the game. I really like the game, so I've taken advantages of a couple of their coupons. Anyway, so the foundry is where you build your items. You'll also unlock mods. Modifications are where your real customization and strength comes from. Now, each frame can be leveled up to level 30. Each piece of equipment can be leveled up to level 30. It's really the mods that determine how strong you are as a player. It's important to realize that there are over 30 frames in the game, and the frames themselves have different abilities, different specials, different statistical strengths. So think of them like classes in an MMORPG. You can only hold... The game will start you off with, I believe, 2 frame slots, so you have to buy additional frame slots with platinum if you so choose. So, as I said, platinum is a convenience item. Anyway, so in the arsenal, my Excalibur is already max rank, so I'm going to select one of the frames that I'm currently working on. let's see. Working on Ember Prime right now. So when you select a frame, you can change your appearance however you want. You can choose different helmets. You can choose different skins. Now, skins are, again, platinum only. If you're playing on Steam, there are some available through Steam Workshop using your cash in your Steam wallet. Helmets will actually appear as alerts on the minimap, on the star map, so you can acquire all the helmet variations in game just through regular gameplay. In fact, there are very little things in the game outside of slots for equipment that require platinum currency. You can choose various different kind of standard animation frames. Sayadina is actually your capes. You get a couple for free, and you can color them as needed. I did actually purchase this one from Steam because I really like the fact that it's a cape. Okay, so without any further ado, as a brand new player, once you've selected your frame, you need to select your equipment. Under primary, the game will start you with a couple starter weapons. You want more weapons, okay? As you see here, all of these items are purchasable with platinum. Disregard them. Every item in the game can be acquired through blueprints, either purchasable with credits. Credits are the standard in-game currency that you get from in-game rewards, killing enemies. It's not platinum. Platinum is the premium currency. Credits are the standard currency. So if you go to the equipment slot here, all right, this is for a primary weapon. This is generally rifles, bows, shotguns. If you scroll down, you will find that there are some pieces of equipment that cost direct credits. This is really nice because you're actually purchasing the item flat out. You're not purchasing a blueprint to build it and having to come back in 12 hours to claim it. So as you keep, anything that's an MK1 or a Mark 1 weapon can be purchased with credits. As you notice the icon, 15,000 here. You can buy the Paris, the Strun. So as a new player, you want to go through and buy all of these. Not at once, mind you, but pick one that you like and level it all the way. Alright, so I've actually purchased the standard Bratton, which is level 6. And for secondary, it's the same thing. You can scroll down, and as you can see, there are a couple that are just straight cash, like the Lotto. So I purchased the Sicarius. And for weapons, I actually built the Cronan because I had already maxed out all of the purchasable equipment here. Alright, now companions are important. You do get one at the end of the Earth sequence, the first planet. Carriers are awesome because not only do they provide a secondary source of damage, but they have unique features. You'll start the game, they'll start you off with a sentinel called Taxon that has a really useful freeze beam. I actually sold mine because I needed more slots for carriers. So I highly recommend as a new player that you buy the blueprint for carrier, standard carrier, because carrier comes with a modification that allows you that will actually convert ammunition pickups for other types of weapons and convert them to the ammunition you need for the weapon that you have currently equipped. So there have been many situations where you're killing a bunch of enemies and they're dropping shotgun ammunition and you have an assault rifle. So it doesn't really help. Carrier's ability, his mod will actually convert that shotgun ammunition into rifle ammunition. So with carrier ammunition, running out of ammo is very rarely a problem. Now, Sentinels themselves can have their own HP bars, their own health, and their own shields, and their own armor, so they can die. So they are not to be ignored if you get them. And not to mention, you can switch between different weapons as well. Once you have your stuff equipped, you want to go ahead and go to upgrade. Now, this is your mod slots. You got a total of 8 standard slots. Each frame comes with 2 top slots. This is considered an aura slot here, and this is an Exilus slot. Okay, the Exilus slot is always locked because you can either build or buy an Exilus adapter to open it. I don't have enough platinum to buy one, and I don't have an Exilus adapter built, but it's definitely a slot you want to utilize at some point in a frame that you actually like. Alright, I don't recommend you buy Exilus slots for frames that you're just leveling to level. Okay, so these items that you see here, the little symbol in the upper right hand corner of these 2 slots are called polarity. Alright, and they correspond down here as well. As you can see here, these are Materai, that's Vizarin, Naramon, and Zeneric. These are the various schools. So the reason why polarity is important is, as you see here, my capacity is 12 out of 12. Polarity, if you put a mod of the same polarity into a polarity slot, it actually cuts the cost in half. So let's see here. We have Intensify, okay? Standard Intensify costs 11, and when you select a mod, as you see, it'll light up in green if it's the same slot, red if it's not. If we put it here, alright, and it does round, it cuts it in half and rounds it up. So Intensify goes from 11 to 6, and it'll actually change the number. If we move it out, it goes back to 11, and our capacity is now 1. Okay. Now, if you put something that is not, like here, we'll use Cunning Drift, or we'll use Rage. If we put something, now Rage is 6 standard. If it's in the appropriate slot, it's now 3. If we put it into a slot that is of a different polarity, it increases the cost to 8. So keep that in mind when you're doing modifications, okay? I'm going to talk about the aura slot. Aura slots are awesome. Auras are only obtainable through alerts. Alerts are the little announcements that you'll see occasionally in-game, and you can select them from the side tab on the star map. So we're going to use Steel Charge here, because as you can see, the aura slot is of a Materai polarity, and Steel Charge is of a Materai polarity. Auras not only have really powerful buffs, but they buff everyone else in the party. Okay, so the beautiful thing about an aura slot is that not only does it create an aura, it actually will increase your mod capacity. If it's of the same polarity, remember how the standard polarity will cut the mod cost in half? Well, an aura slot will actually double the bonus. So since Steel Surge is 9, we're going to put it here. It jumps to 18, and it will add 18 to our 12. So now we have 30 capacity. Right? If I use something like Shield Disruption, which is only 2, since it's not the same polarity, I'll cut it in half, and it'll only give us 1. So that's how that works. So we're going to throw Steel Charge up here. Alright, we now have 30 slots. Now, modifications come in 3 grades. Alright, they are uncommon. Sorry, they're common, uncommon, and rare. And they're color-coded. The bronze-colored modifications are the common. They're denoted by that single diamond at the very top. The stars on the bottom is the level of the mod. Okay, so the bronze are the common. The white ones, well, actually they're kind of bluish, are the uncommon. Alright, so bronze is common, bluish is uncommon, and the gold are rare. You do have purples that are called Riven, but that's kind of an endgame thing. And then you have Prime, which are a tier above these, and those are only purchasable from the Void Trader. And those are just super, super, super versions of standard mods. Alright, so we have 30 capacity. I'm going to go ahead and put in Vitality. As you can see, this is maxed out. Actually, before I do that, let me explain how you upgrade mods. Okay, so we're going to take something simple like Antitoxin. Alright, so we're going to go to Mods. Hang on a second. Because you can do it directly from this screen. go to installed mods. Hang on. I hadn't put anything else in there yet. Here, let's throw steel fiber up. Okay, so you can go to installed mods, specifically on the Warframe, what have you. Oh, we can do antitoxin. That's what just want to select one. So the modding menu, fusion is how you increase the level of your mod. All right. You can also sell mods for credits, or you can dissolve it into Endo. Endo is the secondary currency that you're going to use for fusion. So we've selected antitoxin. We're going to go to fusion, and it shows you here. It shows you the amount of resistance, 7.5%, and the mod drain on the left-hand side. And it will show you that right now it's unranked. Okay, the currency in the upper right-hand corner. Not all the way in the upper right-hand corner, but the number, the 3,555, by that little pearl-looking gemstone, is our Endo. Alright, so increasing it to rank 1 increases our toxic resist to 15%, adds a drain of 5, and it costs 20 Endo and 966 credits. Alright, each rank costs more Endo and more credits, and as you can see, it also increases the resistance. At max rank, it costs 9 mod capacity, provides 45% resistance, costs 620 Endo and almost 30,000 credits. So, as a new player, there are some basic mods that I'm going to recommend, but just be really cautious with upgrading your mods, because you can run out of cash really easily if you aren't thoughtful about a lot of this. Okay, so while you will not have access to things like Steel Charge right off the bat, you will have access to Vitality. Vitality, actually, when you start playing the game, you're going to get broken versions of really good slots. So if you see here, like Equilibrium. Equilibrium is actually a very rare mod to find, but as you see here on the mod, it says damaged. This is something that you'll get in the beginning of the game, and there's no way to repair it. You just have to find the real mod. These are just kind of nerfed mods to make it easier for new players. So that's all the damaged means. They cost less, they're easily accessible, and they do provide some utility to new players. But they should ultimately be replaced as you play. Just be very, very cautious, because outside of the mod cost, there's no really way to tell. Like here I have maxed Equilibrium. This is the damaged mod, and it's 7. I have the real Equilibrium, which actually costs 12. Okay, same rarity, but this is max. As you see here, fully maxed, this gives 90% energy on health pickups, 90% on health. The broken one at maxed only gives 32. So just be very aware, and I don't know why I still have them, but if you pick up the real versions, the mods, these are not bad to hold on to if you're min-maxing based on your capacity. I don't recommend selling mods unless you are short on cash or Endo, and even then, only sell things that are duplicates. Alright, so Vitality is a must, okay? Max Vitality, it's not even maxed actually. How much would it cost me to max Vitality? It cost me 5,000, but it would increase by 440. I don't have that kind of cash right now, so we're going to leave that as is. But Vitality is a super, super important one. You're probably not going to find Matter Eye stuff for a while. I generally prefer using Intensify, but these are rare. So disregard the rare stuff. Focus on the bronze common. So Vitality is a must. Redirection is decent. Shield capacity. Shields really depend on the frame. Alright, Steel Fiber is also a very good starter one. Armor decreases the amount of damage that gets done to you when your health starts to get damaged. Let's see. also get, let's see, there is fast deflection, which increases your shield recharge. These are okay, but you really want to focus on things that are going to boost your armor as well as your health. Okay. Vigor is actually, I'm going to switch this up for Vigor because this gives health and shields. So when you start the game, you're not going to have a lot of mods. You're not going to have anywhere near as many as I do. But generally you want to focus first on health, second on armor, and then start looking at things that are going to increase your actual ability strength. Remember how I said that all the frames act like classes? Well, this will affect your class-specific abilities. Like for Ember, I have every frame has 4 specials, and the damage is affected by that ability strength. Alright, so we've got Ember situated. Now as far as your guns are concerned, number one thing I advise everyone to put in is if you can get a hold of Serration. Serration increases your base damage. It's very expensive to start, so I would not recommend it as a starting. But Serration, Point Strike, which is critical chance, and Vital Sense, which is critical damage. They're all awesome. That's all I really have room for on that one. Actually, I can... Likewise with your secondary, Hornet Strike is really good. Pistol Gambit because it's critical chance. Anything with Multishot, once you start getting them, are very good because Multishot basically increases your chance of firing multiple bullets instead of one bullet on single fire weapons. So it basically, I mean, it increases your actual fire output per pull of the trigger. Alright, now melee weapons are kind of special because they have their own special slot here called a stance slot. Stance slots are similar to the aura mods in that they increase your mod capacity in exactly the same way. Okay. However, when you increase them, they also unlock combos. Combos, when you're in melee mode, give you obviously more potential moves. To enter melee mode when you're in combat, you just hold down the key or the button that you use to switch your weapons. That will change you to melee mode. But Pressure Point is your melee damage modifier. As you see, it's an uncommon, or sorry, it's a common, so you're going to find that very easily in the game. And you can kind of go from there. Also, when you get to higher levels, you are going to have to start looking into making equipment status damage. And by equipment status damage is you're going to find certain mods, like as you see here, I just put a Virulent Scourge on. Now this is a rare mod, but it does give Toxin. As you see here on the left, it adds Toxin. If you combine, we're going to use Toxin Electricity, and this will make Corrosive. Corrosive will eat through armor. Very useful for heavily armored enemies like Grineer. Alright, we switch out Electricity for Fire. Now we have Gas. Alright, we can switch out Toxin for Lightning. Now we have Radiation. So, statuses are really, really powerful because not only are you doing the base damage, as you see here, we've got Impact, Puncture, Slash, Toxin got removed. You can only have one type of secondary damage, elemental damage, but this is in addition to standard damage. So you can buff yourself up all you want for slash damage or whatever primary damage the weapon does initially, but that's all you're getting. So if we put something like pressure point on, right, we are now up to, let's exit out so I can actually show you what I mean. So major damage, slash damage at 52. We put pressure point on. We're now up to 114% damage. Okay, so we're going to throw on some toxin. We've just added an additional 85 damage. So when enemies get hit, they're going to get that 114 point slash damage. They're going to get 14.3 impact and 14.3 puncture. So those 3 damages are going to be applied to the enemy. Okay, we just added 85 damage to that as well. Now if we throw something, let's see, do I have it's toxin? I think I need ice cold. Hang on a second. I'm mainly going to be fighting Grenier. Where is my ice or electricity? There we go. So now we've added corrosive, which does direct damage to shields, which Grenier are all shields. So on top of the 114.4 slash damage, we're also doing 107 of corrosive damage, and that's going to go directly to the enemy shields. So for all intents and purposes, we've almost doubled the amount of damage that we're doing just by adding 2 different mods. Okay, so that's how elemental damage works. I'm still kind of learning in some respects, but there are little tooltips that will tell you, which damage does what. Okay, all right. And as far as your Sentinel goes, this is Carrier, and here's what he comes with: ammo case. That's the biggie. Converts ammunition, increases ammo capacity, and converts ammo pickups. You can also add Animal Instinct, which is loot radar and enemy radar. That's a rare, but it's useful. The big thing about Sentinels, though, is you want to get Vacuum. And you'll find Vacuum pretty early in the game, and what Vacuum does is it basically sucks up everything that drops, so you don't have to run around picking things up on your own. Huge quality of life. I recommend it for everybody. But just like your Warframe, your Carrier has HP, it has health, it has shields. If it dies, none of this stuff is going to help you. If it dies, you don't get ammo conversion. If it dies, you don't get Vacuum. So it's in your best interest to really focus, not focus, but don't ignore your Sentinel. Okay, so that is my tutorial on modifications. They make a huge difference in your survivability. Now, as a new player, I'm going to show you my preferred area to go to level. Now, if you're grinding, and I didn't touch on this earlier, but one of the major core components of Warframe is the concept of mastery. All right? And what mastery is the combined experience points for all pieces of equipment that you've leveled to 30. You can only get mastery from a piece of equipment once. All right? So I'm going to show you again where this is. If you open your start menu and you go to Profile, you go to Equipment, and it will show you per gun, per piece of equipment, all the frames, all the equipment that you've maxed out. Okay? While you can certainly reacquire a frame to reforma a piece of equipment, which resets its level, you will not get mastery experience from leveling an item a second time, whether it's been formatted or if you've purchased a duplicate. Okay, so use this guide. This is a guide to see what your next pieces of equipment should be. And the reason why mastery is important, 2 reasons. As you see here, I'm mastery rank 12. Mastery is important because a lot of equipment is locked behind mastery levels. Some of the strongest pieces of equipment require mastery level 13, which is actually my current goal. Some of the, for example, where is it? The Tigress Prime, which is pretty much the best shotgun in the game, is mastery locked because it requires 13. Galatine Prime, one of the best melee weapons in the game, level 13. Mastery levels are really important. I think the current cap on mastery level is 24. You don't necessarily need to get 24, but I believe at level 15, everything in the game is going to be unlocked for you. Though, when you reach a mastery level, alright, it is important to know that your mastery level does not... You don't automatically get a mastery level. You are required to take an entrance exam, as it were, in order to obtain the mastery rank. And those mastery tests can only be taken once every 24 hours. If you fail your mastery test, you have to wait 24 hours again in order to take the test again. Generally, the first few mastery tests are pretty easy. Kill X number of enemies in a time limit. Most people won't have problems until they get to around mastery level 5, mastery level 6, okay? But just be aware that mastery levels require a test. Now, you might be asking, wait a minute, well, if they require a test, is there any way I can practice the test? And indeed, you can, and I'm going to show you how. When you get to when you get to Mercury, you'll have the Laruta relay. I'm going to show you where you can go. I'm not going to walk around the station because that's kind of going to be a spoiler for you, but I'm going to teleport there directly. This is going to be the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video. So if you go to Cephalon Samaris, and this is available in any relay, as soon as you walk in the door, you teleport to the right. You're going to have a bunch of kiosks, alright? And each kiosk is the mastery rank tests. And when you take the test, you have the option of practicing it.
Your Warframe is a weapon. Prove you have mastered its power.
So this is 7, this is not... Unfortunately, I came into this test with really bad equipment.
Ready yourself.
Really bad equipment. Now, a lot of tests will ignore your abilities, and will also ignore your equipment. It's always in your best interest to at least have a decent loadout. My guns are terrible, so I'm not going to waste my time.
Again.
As you can see, it's not terribly hard. I mean, I'm on a level 7 Warframe with level 8 equipment, and I've just completed the Mastery Rank 7 test.
A formidable performance. This test is now complete. Another job well executed.
test, before you actually physically take the test, go to Larudo Relay, go to Samaris, and do the practice. Okay? That way, at least you'll know, number one, if you're going to need specific equipment for the test, or number two, if you're even prepared for it, or if maybe you have a Warframe that would be more effective. Alright, so I hope this tutorial was helpful, at least understanding the loadout of your characters, and hopefully you understand the way mastery level works. But yes, utilize these tools, because you don't want to get in a situation where you stick with one character, one Warframe, one set of weapons, and then wonder why you're not improving. Alright? Each Warframe and each weapon is good for specific situations. You are limited in how many slots you have in your arsenal for additional weapons and Warframes. That's just going to be dependent on how much platinum you want to spend. All right. So if any of you guys have any questions or would like to see me make another video about another aspect of the game, please leave your suggestions in the comments below. And again, thank you for watching. Arleman out.